positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation. Now, this is a wonderful verse and a wonderful purport. And the purport is absolutely necessary to understand the verse. The real, let's say, uh, the real conundrum, look that word up, conundrum. And the real, let's say, uh, perplexion or difficulty people have in life is to understand what is their real duty in life. So there are different considerations, such as prescribed duties, capricious duties, and inaction. So prescribed duties are activities enjoined, in other words, activities uh, recommended in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. So there's goodness, passion, and ignorance. So they're prescribed duties for people according to the modes of nature that they're entangled in. So one can be purely, not, all these modes are contaminated. Even a mode of goodness can have passion and ignorance influence also. And the mode of passion can have some goodness and some ignorance. And ignorance may have a little bit of uh, passion, maybe a little bit of goodness. So they're fluctuating in the life of people. So here it says, prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority. So capricious means speculation, whatever comes in your mind, and you think you should do that without any reference to Shastra or Guru. And inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive. That means he should be active, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. Yeah, so if you do things in a mode of goodness, you are rewarded. If you do things in mode of ignorance, you'll have to suffer. However, whether you act in goodness, passion, and ignorance, you'll still have to stay in the material world. It's only when one attains Sudasattva, transcendental goodness, that you can be liberated from the entanglement of the material world. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunction without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties. That means you can decide to work in any way you want, but should not act without attachment to the result. So let me read that again. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties. Yeah, you can decide what kind of duty you want. Or what? No, I'm sorry. You can, this means Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should not act without attachment to the result. I'm sorry, but should act with attachment, without attachment to the result, right? But should act without attachment to the result. So you can decide what kind of service you would like to perform for Krishna, or more specifically, uh, you're given your duties by a bona fide guru. You might have a let's say attraction to doing in certain things, like somebody would like to cook, somebody like to clean, somebody would like to go on Sankirtan. So therefore, uh, but whatever you do, it should be done according to the scriptural injunctions and without desire for results. That's action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should not act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested, obligatory duties doubtlessly leads one to the path of liberation. Okay, so everyone, when it says everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, what does it mean, proprietary right? He can choose what he wants to do? Is that what that means? Proprietary right. Proprietary, it implies he owns something.
Yeah, Muslim.
So he can own a certain type of service, but he should act without attachment to the result. Yeah, that's what it means. Such disinterested, obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. So there's certain things that are obliged to be done. And those things can be things that are dictated by the guru or by Krishna.
Mm. Proprietary rights refers to the legal rights and exclusive ownership that a person or entity has over a particular property or asset. These rights allow the owner to use, control, and benefit from the property as well as to exclude others from using it or interfering with it. Proprietary rights can apply both to tangible assets such as land and goods and intangible assets such as intellectual property.
Well, okay, so they're also uh, saying that you have a proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties. So who prescribes it? It's the spiritual master prescribes your duties, and you own it. You own that duty given to you by the guru. But one should not act, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. So when it says obligatory duties, it's been given to one by the guru. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. When something is a duty, you cannot avoid doing it. Let's put it like that. But you should not want to enjoy the results. That's what this verse is about. It says, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Okay. Why? Because work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary rights in regard to prescribed duties. In other words, you can, in a sense, own the prescribed duties, but should not act, but should not without attachment to the result.
You should not act with or should act without.
But should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. All right, so we should not have attachment to the result. We should do it. We should follow what the spiritual master tells us to do, and that becomes our prescribed duties, and we own that in a sense. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Okay, so the spiritual master advises the disciple to do something. It is possible that the disciple may not want to do it, but that's not the best thing. It's best that a disciple can say, well, maybe I'm not qualified to do this, etc. But the spiritual master can say, no, you do it and just follow what I tell you. So at that point, uh, let's say the disciple's obligation is to work without attachment to the results and offer everything to the spiritual master and to Krishna. So everybody has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should not act without attachment to the result. But should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Okay. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Okay, now duty is something that you cannot avoid doing. And prescribed duties are given by the spiritual master and Krishna, and you cannot give up doing them. You have to do it seriously. Now, some of those duties may be routine work. Some of those duties may be emergency work, and some may also be desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results, work with expectation of results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Okay. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. That's the main point. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this is very important. This explains what? Prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. In other words, prescribed duties, what the spiritual master tells you to do. Capricious work is what you speculate and do without the permission of the guru. And inaction means flat out not following the instructions of the guru. Okay. Just like it says, capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority. And inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. Okay. So what's being said here is that in life, we're always going to have some type of duty to perform. If we can perform that duty without attachment to the fruit of the action, and not considering ourselves the cause of the results of our activities, and never being attached to not doing our duty. That is action in the mode of goodness. And right away it says you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Okay, now everybody works with the expectation of the results, owning the results, but actually the devotee performs his duty and offers everything to the spiritual master and Krishna. So there's a big difference between the two points of view. And some people, if they have to work and then give the result to the guru, they'll refuse to do it. They'll say, no, I want some of the result also. But someone who is completely surrendered will not be upset by giving everything to the guru. They will do it understanding that the service that they're doing goes to the guru offers to his guru, and then his guru, and ultimately coming to Krishna, and then Krishna's mercy comes down through all the gurus to the disciple. So you have sincere service and offering the service to the guru, and it goes up to Krishna, and Krishna's mercy comes down to the devotee through the disciplic succession. And this is the right way to work. Okay.
So is this because the prescribed duties are
Given
into three categories, right, Maharaj? Routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. In the second paragraph.
Yeah.
And then only the routine work, in the following sentence, it says routine work. It's not about emergency or desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of scriptural injunctions without desire is action in the mode of goodness.
Right. So routine work, chanting your rounds every day. Eating only prasadam, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Those are obligations in terms of the scriptural injunctions. Go ahead. Without desire for results.
And what is emergency work and what should be done in those cases, and then desired activities?
Well, emergency work means that sometimes, like for example, uh, Srila Prabhupada got sick. So they had to do something. The devotees had to do something. Even though Prabhupada was sick, they still had to get his permission to do something. So, for example, they wanted to take him to the um, well, first of all, Prabhupada says, if I get sick, don't take me to the hospital. So now they're duty bound not to take him to a hospital. He didn't say, but on the other hand, he asked sometimes to have a doctor. Okay. One time, the devotees wanted to take him to this resort in where is that? Switzerland. But it was actually, when they got there, it was actually very cold. And Prabhupada almost immediately said, okay, I don't want to stay here. Take me back again. So, sometimes devotees, they have a desire to help the spiritual master, but ultimately they have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. So there's routine work, that's our chanting and so forth. The emergency work, well, sometimes there's an emergency. They have to stop doing what you normally would do and do something else. Like if someone has a heart attack, immediately you stop other things that you were doing normally, and you take that person to the hospital or you do whatever is necessary to help that person. And there's desired activities. Yeah, there's certain things that you like to do. And if you get that opportunity, that's fine.
But even that activity should be
Bona
done without
fide.
attachment to results.
Yes, yes,
All activities should be done without attachment to results. That's
yes.
but some things are clearly prescribed as ongoing activities, routine work. Some maybe based on the situation that arises, still you may have to take input from the spiritual authorities. But those are like unexpected activities.
I'm gonna have to take this phone call. People are trying to call me. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, Hare Krishna. Like,
I just wanted to make sure that the breakdown between these three, how the way the work originates is different. One is based on your kind of the modes. There are prescribed activities that or the routine work is again given by the scriptural injunctions or through the spiritual master. So that's an ongoing activity. Every day you repeat that, like chanting, eating prasadam only, and so on. Emergency is unexpected work that emerges based on the situation. And then other than the fact that it emerges, sometimes you may have to make the decision. Your spiritual master may not be there, but it should be based on the instructions that the spiritual master may have given in the past, or the scriptures may have generally, it's is that true? Like the spiritual master may not always.
well, the spiritual master has taught you
Correct.
everything about Krishna consciousness. He's just whatever decision you make, it has to be something that you have heard from the spiritual master and is especially, let's say, collaborated by the Shastra.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the desired activities are mostly based on the modes that are influential on you, that you may have attraction to certain type of service. Is that how we see it? Desired
Well, I don't think, well, you have to be careful there. Desired activities. Okay. So one person wants to be a pujari. Okay. But there's a process of that leads to becoming a pujari, process of education that leads to becoming a pujari. You can't just become a pujari.
Yeah, you have to still be qualified.
You have to develop the skill, and then you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. The main thing is not to be attached to the result of the work, because then you get caught in the net of karma. You should offer the result to Krishna, which is what devotees are doing. They're offering the result to Krishna.
Yeah.
If we work with attachment to the result, then we're either the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. So, in other words, we get caught by karma. Sometimes it's good karma, sometimes it's bad karma. But both of them are keeping us in the material world, the good karma and the bad karma. What we want is akarma, action without attachment to the result, and everything is offered to Krishna through the spiritual master. That's why it says, the Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached, so number one is prescribed duty. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. That means he's going to be caught in the net of karma.
Very well.
All right.
See if there are any other.
Yeah, we're over time now.
Hare Krishna, any questions online?
Okay. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai.